I am going to the island of the valley, to Lahaina, Lahaina Luna, where the mountains are green. You will find me in Lahaina, Lahaina Luna. They say that Maui no Kaoi, and I agree that Maui no Kaoi is the only place for me. That's where you'll find me, down by the seaside, watching the moon rise, the twinkling starlight, the morning sunrise, the golden sunset in Lahaina, Lahaina Luna. They say that Maui no Kaoi, and I agree that Maui no Kaoi is the only place for me. That's where you'll find me, down by the seaside, watching the moon rise, the twinkling starlight, the morning sunrise, the golden sunset in Lahaina, Lahaina Luna. Me ke aloha from the Royal Hawaiian Band. We turn things over to Brandy Higa. Mahalo nui.
Thank you so much to Bandmaster Clark Bright and the Royal Hawaiian Band. Good morning and aloha. My name is Brandy Higa, and it is an honor to serve as your MC for this morning's National Purple Heart Day ceremony. In the United States military, the Purple Heart is awarded to service members who are wounded or killed in action against an enemy of the United States. Today, as we honor the estimated 1.8 million service members who have earned this award in American history, I would like to ask those who are able to please rise for the posting of the colors by the Hawaii Air National Guard, Base Honor Guard, and please remain standing for the national anthem sung today by Malia Ka'ai and Hawaii Pono'i performed by Kala'i Stern. Color Guard, post the colors.
we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ave pono I nana I como I kalani ali I ke ali makualani ep kamehameha ep na kawae pane ne ka ihe makualani ep kamehameha ep na kawae pane me ka ihe.
Mahalo. Please be seated. Before we introduce our guests, we want to acknowledge that today, August 8th, is also the somber anniversary of the wildfires that tore through Lahaina town and claimed so many lives. Please join me in a moment of silence and reflection to honor the victims of that tragic day. Thank you. Joining us this morning are a number of distinguished guests we would like to introduce at this time. Please join me in welcoming first the 15th Mayor of the City and County of Honolulu, the Honorable Rick Blangiardi. The city's Managing Director, Michael Formby. Deputy Managing Director, Krishna Jayaram. And Mayor Blangiardi's Chief of Staff, Andy Sugg. From the Honolulu City Council, Council Vice Chair Andrea Tupola. Councilmember Esther Kia Aina. Councilmember Tyler Dos Santos Tam. Councilmember Scott Nishimoto. Councilmember Val Okimoto. And Councilmember Agi Toba. From the state of Hawaii, the Director of the State Department of Transportation, Ed Sniffen. I'm sorry, and Councilmember Matt Wire. the Garrison Commander for U.S. Army Garrison Hawaii, Colonel Rachel Sullivan. The Commander of Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam, U.S. Navy Captain Samuel White. The Wing Commander of the 15th Wing at Pearl Harbor Hickam, Colonel Garrett Fisher. From the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, the Director of the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific, Jim Horton, as well as Deputy Director Lance Pridemore. We are honored to be joined this morning by many Purple Heart recipients, many of whom will be introduced just a short time from now. But I especially want to recognize Colonel Ed Cruikshank, U.S. Army retired Commander of the Rainbow Chapter of the Order of the Purple Heart. And we are also joined today by a very special guest, Alan J. Kellogg, Jr., retired Sergeant Major in the U.S. Marine Corps, recipient of the U.S. military's highest award for valor, the Medal of Honor. Finally, I want to acknowledge the members of Mayor Blangiardi's cabinet, as well as the city employees who are joining us today to honor the members of our Purple Heart community. Last year, the Honolulu City Council voted unanimously to approve Bill 7, 2024, declaring the city and county of Honolulu as a Purple Heart city to honor the extraordinary courage, service, and sacrifices of Honolulu's Purple Heart recipients. At this time, please welcome the council member who introduced that bill and one of its strongest supporters, Councilmember Agi Tolba.
Good morning, everyone. You know, when I was growing up in Kalihi Valley, I used to box. As I entered the gym, they had all these motivational quotes, and one of them was, "Consistency will win for me." And this wouldn't happen without consistency from my good friend, Sergeant Takumi Abe. Where is that? Stand up, please. Let everybody. Takumi came into the office about a year and a half ago, explaining and telling us, you know, that the city and the state is not even recognized as a city of state Purple Heart. And I was like blown away because I have family members that are Purple Heart recipients. So consistency with the emails back and forth, and then from the mayor's office, within a week and a half, they responded, even with the surprise of not knowing that we are one. Made this happen. So thank you for your consistency, because consistency will win for me. You know, those who are injured or killed while serving our country in the military deserve our deepest gratitude, honor, and respect. To pay tribute to these brave individuals, I introduced Bill 7, designating the city and county of Honolulu as a Purple Heart city. This recognition honors the courage, service, and sacrifices made by our island's Purple Heart recipients. With 248 Purple Heart recipients, Hawaii holds a remarkable distinction of having more Medal of Honor recipients than any other state. The sacrifices are a testament to their bravery and dedication to our nation. Among the most notable, the 100 Battalion, the 442nd Infantry. This battalion became the most decorated in the U.S. Army, with its warriors receiving 21 Congressional Medals of Honor. The majority of these soldiers also received Purple Heart, earning their battalion the nickname Purple Heart Battalion. I extend my heartfelt thanks to the Hawaii Rainbow Chapter, especially the 186 members of the Rainbow Chapter number 483 on Oahu. Their advocacy and dedication were vital to this accomplishment. I am grateful to my fellow council members and the mayor for giving these heroes the recognitions they deserve. I am deeply humbled by the sacrifice and service of our Purple Heart recipients. The commitment has been crucial in safeguarding our freedoms and our way of life. We should all continue to honor and remember their contributions so that we can ensure their legacy of courage and selflessness endures for generations to come. Thank you, guys.
Mahalo, Councilmember Tolba. There are dozens of veteran service organizations across the state of Hawaii that provide critical resources to our military veterans. Those organizations are represented collectively by the Oahu Veterans Council, which strongly supported the effort to designate Honolulu as a Purple Heart City. To speak on their behalf, please welcome the president of the Oahu Veterans Council, Purple Heart recipient, and the commander of the Rainbow Chapter of the Military Order of the Purple Heart, Colonel Ed Cruikshank, U.S. Army, retired.
I didn't realize I was going to be talking on behalf of the Oahu Veterans Council. I thought it was going to be for the Purple Heart. So Augie, you may have to come up here and give my speech. Anyway, I want to thank all of you for coming. My speech will be short, but hopefully to the point. When you're here today, you're not only honoring those individuals that have received the Purple Heart, and they'll be introduced later by Augie, but the fact is that this keeps the tradition alive that people that sacrifice so much will never be forgotten, not only through the people here, but their families as we go forward, because we know freedom isn't free. What I'm going to do is just mention a couple things, and Augie started it earlier. We have more Congressional Medal of Honors here in the state per capita than any other state in the nation. That also goes with the Purple Heart recipients, because we have been a very patriotic state for many, many years. Besides the 100 of the 442 with 21 congressional medals, I'm just going to mention 3 here as we go forward. One is Herbert P. Liao from Waianae. He was the first Hawaiian that was killed and received the Medal of Honor posthumously. Basically, to make it short, he stuck in his position, let the other people retrograde to the rear, but he never made it out. The second is Francis Y. Francis was a graduate of Punahou, played football up at the university, not at the university, at Punahou. As a matter of fact, his running back was my dad. So we go back many, many years. He lost his life in Leyte in the Philippines, again, trying to take out a machine gun nest that was hurting his men, okay? The other individual I wanted to mention was none other than Alan Kellogg. So you do have a Medal of Honor alive, right here. Alan, I've known Alan for many, many years. As a matter of fact, the area he was in, I followed in there some other time at Quezon. But anyway, what we'll do is Alan was in his bunker or whatever we call it now. And what happened, the enemy, the North Vietnamese threw grenades in there. He took his flak vest, which wasn't like Kevlar today, threw it on it, threw his body on it, and saved a whole bunch of people. But he never left until his thing was taken care of. So for you, Alan, you're a very special guy, and let's give him a hand. I'd like to, at this time, I'll just move on and introduce some of our senior people we have here that have seen a lot of combat. One is Ace Kalehano, and he's sitting back there, and Terry is his wife. He fought in the Korean War and also in the Vietnam War. He has a sergeant major next to him to protect him against anybody. So thanks for being here, Sean. And the other one is Mino Takiesu, which is right behind a Colonel Sullivan. And there he is raising his hand. But as we can see, all of them are here. Augie, I'll ask you this question. Are they going to be standing or? You know, all the Purple Heart recipients here, could you just stand for a minute so they can see you? If you can, of course. Thank you very much. You can sit down. There's 2 individuals that I'd really like to mention. One is Henry Lee, and the other is Tommy Tanaka. They're not here. So, Rick, I really thank you for having things like this because we're losing a lot of great people. You know, Henry was, I believe, 92. Tommy Tanaka was 97. And all of us just loved the guys. And we, you know, you couldn't say no to either one. But anyway, I'd like the Lee Ohana to just stand up because they're here today representing their dad. Thank you. Imagine when I was getting my uniforms cut down when I was a ROTC cadet at the University of Hawaii. Rose cut down my uniforms all the time. So super. But anyway, with that, I just want to say just two things. First of all, freedom isn't free. The individuals here, the guests, know how important it is, especially in today's times, to always thank and recognize people for doing so much. I always thought this years and years ago. When I first got commissioned, we had a 6-paragraph code of conduct. And what it is, even though it's 60 plus years later, I'm an American fighting in the forces which guard my country and our way of life. I am prepared to give my life in its defense. I felt that way so many years ago. For all of you here, you may be getting older, but we all feel the same way. Our body isn't what it used to be, but the brain-wise, we're saying, you guys are really special. So with that, I think that completes it. But just remember, we will only remain the land of the free as long as we remain the land of the brave. Thank you very much.
Mahalo. The U.S. military, including the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, as well as the Combatant Commands Indo-PACOM represents, have also supported the city's effort to honor our Purple Heart community. To say a few words on behalf of the U.S. Army this morning, please welcome the Garrison Commander of U.S. Army Garrison, Hawaii, Colonel Rachel Sullivan.
Aloha kako, and mahalo to Mayor Rick Blangiardi for this incredible honor. The designation as a Purple Heart City demonstrates a community's commitment to honor and support those who have received the Purple Heart. It demonstrates the city and county of Honolulu's commitment to honoring our heroes. Heroes like Command Sergeant Major Sean Curry, our 25th Infantry Division Command Sergeant Major, who received the Purple Heart in Kandahar City in 2011. And heroes like my own Command Sergeant Major, Joshua Yost, who received the Purple Heart in Afghanistan in 2009. But beyond the soldiers of our recent conflicts, this designation honors soldiers from across Hawaii and the nation who have served in past conflicts, many of them making the final sacrifice in defense of freedom. As has already been mentioned, it honors soldiers like Private First Class Herbert K. Pilia'au from Waianae, who was killed at Heartbreak Ridge during the Korean conflict. And it honors the many soldiers of the 100th Infantry Battalion and the 442nd Regiment, known as the Purple Heart Battalion, for their valor. Ultimately, by the end of World War II, 9,486 Purple Hearts had been presented to soldiers of the 442nd. Truly remarkable. Mahalo again, Mayor Blangiardi, and mahalo to all those who call Honolulu home. On behalf of the U.S. Army serving here in Hawaii, we are truly humbled to be a small part of this incredible recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Sullivan. Next, representing the U.S. Navy, please welcome Captain Samuel White, the commander of Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam.
She's a little shorter than me. What can you say when you follow somebody like Rachel Sullivan? There's a few things I want to do, and then I'll make a couple of remarks, then I'll vacate here very quickly. First of all, I did not hear the name of General Akamora be mentioned for being here with us today. General Akamora and I served in Guantanamo Bay together. I was the base commander. He was the task force commander. So how about a hand for General Akamora for being with us today? Another thing is I didn't realize that we have a Medal of Honor winner here. It's a tradition, and I think it's a regulation in the military that regardless of the rank of the individual who earns that medal, you salute them when you walk by. And I failed to do that, so I'm going to do that. Last thing I will tell you, I'm very grateful to the mayor for inviting us to do this. When I received the request to approve the sign to be put in front of the memorial for Arizona, it was a no-brainer. I verbally approved it, and then they came back a couple of weeks ago after that asking if we had approved it. Of course, the answer is yes. It goes without saying, if the mayor asked for it, and it's legal to do, I have to say that, the answer is yes. When it comes to Purple Hearts and things of that nature, for some people, it's a visit. For some people, it's a thing that you think about once in a while. For me, it is not. For me, when I look out of the office, I see the Arizona Memorial. I know it's a burial site for people. 1,999 sailors gave their life on December 7, 1941, and 710 additional personnel were wounded and were awarded the Purple Heart. Those are the numbers I think about every day. And it was already mentioned that we carry on their legacy every day as we do our jobs. This is my 30th year in the Navy. I'll be around for another year. I had the opportunity to deploy Iraq for about 22 months. I saw people not make it. I saw traditions in other services, whether it's Army, Air Force, when they start calling, doing the roll call, and the name is called over and over again, and there's a pair of boots left, and nobody shows up. That's the type of thing I think about every day. Thank you very much.
Representing the United States Air Force this morning is the wing commander of the 15th Wing based out of Pearl Harbor. Hickam, please welcome Colonel Garrett Fisher.
Mr. Mayor, distinguished guests, aloha, good morning. I'm honored today to speak on behalf of the Air Force, and I take great pride in serving a community that values the contributions of our brave veterans. Honolulu County and City has a long-standing history of supporting our military community. I can't express enough how grateful I am for this relationship. While historically, Purple Heart recipients receive their distinction while serving within the Department of Defense, this isn't always the case. On December 7th, 1941, during an attack on Pearl Harbor and Hickam Field, the Hickam Fire Department and main engine were both bombed, and the base's water system was damaged. None of the fire hydrants worked. Our fire department had succumbed to the attacks, and our firemen were either dead or missing. We were unable to respond. The Honolulu Fire Department became the main first responder firefighting force during the attacks. Fortunately, Kalihi Fire Station is a mere 7 miles away from Hickam, and we shared a mutual aid pact with the base. Our community came to our rescue. During the second wave of attacks, Honolulu Fire Department Captain Thomas Macy, Captain John Carrera, and Hosman Harry Tuck Lee Pang made the ultimate sacrifice, and 6 other civilian firemen were wounded. These 9 firefighters from the Honolulu Fire Department received the Purple Heart Medal for their bravery. They were the first and only civilian firefighters to receive this distinction. Their service and sacrifice embody not only the meaning behind the Purple Heart Medal, but the closeness of our communities. These brave firemen were instrumental in the protection of the installation. Our community continues to be instrumental in our success today. Thank you for honoring these heroes and the approximately 1.8 million recipients of the Purple Heart Medal. I'm proud to be a part of this community and serve alongside each one of you. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Colonel. Finally, please join me in welcoming the 15th Mayor of the City and County of Honolulu, the Honorable Rick Blangiardi.
Good morning and aloha. I can't thank you all enough for being here this morning. This is a very special occasion. And before I deliver my brief prepared remarks, just have to say a couple of things. I was born in 1946, a little bit more than 11 months after my father returned home from World War II, along with a bunch of uncles that I had. I grew up in a large Italian family. All of those men fought in World War II, along with the kids that I went to school with. All their dads and moms actually were involved in the war effort as well. And that was very impressionable upon us as young kids. And those men never talked about their personal heroics. They never did. But they did talk about the impact of the war, and it was very impressionable as young. And then in the middle of grammar school, before we even understood the geography of the world, we were all talking about the Korean War and what that meant. And some of our dads actually went away to that. And then on came high school. Before I knew it, going into college in the late 60s, Vietnam was very real. And for the first time in my life, I personally knew people who were injured in the line of duty and some people who lost their lives. And that was profound in more ways than I can express to you. So I would tell you the first 25 years of my life, third of my life, my impressions and my respect for the men and women who serve our country and what they're willing to put on the line could not be any more profound. In a moment in time like today, when we have the opportunity to make Honolulu a Purple Heart city, is incredibly special. We're so grateful to our military, past, present, for future generations. And one last word. I hold on the same parallel, the men and women of our first responders that I now have a chance to work with. People that I know are willing to put their life on the line each and every day, unlike a wartime condition. But that bravery, that courage, that special human being goes beyond my ability to describe that, except I have profound respect, and I want you to know that. So it is with great privilege I deliver these comments. Thank you for joining us today on this very special day. We are here to honor our veterans, an extraordinary sacrifice represented by the Purple Heart Medal, and to ensure that sacrifice is acknowledged every day going forward, all across our island. Just a couple of days ago, we participated in the memorial service commemorating the 80th anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima. Our visit to the city was extremely thought-provoking. Everywhere you look, there are still reminders of the day and of World War II. On our trip, I was reminded of something powerful that the people of Hiroshima know and know well, and so do the members of our U.S. military. War does not just end just because the fighting stops. The wounds from military conflict, whether you can see them or not, do not heal overnight. War leaves its mark on a nation, on an entire city, and on a man or a woman in uniform especially. The Purple Heart recipients we honored here today know that better than anyone. They know that strength comes with a cost, and they have paid it, whether their bodies or their minds. Our islands have long stood as a strategic gateway to the Pacific, and countless sons and daughters of Hawaii have answered the call to defend our freedoms. It was amazing today to hear the statistics on the number of Medal of Honor recipients that we have and Purple Heart recipients, as well as testimonial, proof positive of that very statement. Today, by officially unveiling Honolulu's new Purple Heart City signs, our communities are showing their appreciation in return. These signs are a promise to honor, support, and remember the sacrifices of our Purple Heart recipients and their families. I especially want to thank those of you in the audience today who have supported our efforts to celebrate these men and women. First, to the Honolulu City Council for voting to pass the designation recognizing Honolulu as a Purple Heart City. Thank you. And a very special and heartfelt mahalo to you, Augie, for your leadership on this and your consistency. Well done, young man. Well done. I also want to thank everyone who assisted us in our efforts to install our Purple Heart City signs. Ed Sniffen was already acknowledged in the State Department of Transportation. Jim Horton in the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific. Colonel Sullivan, Mike Donnelly, and the team at U.S. Army Garrison, Hawaii. Tom Leatherman, who I saw in Hiroshima this week. He was not here this morning. David Kilton is, and the team at the Pearl Harbor National Museum. Mahalo for your help. The public affairs officers at Indo-PACOM in Navy Region, Hawaii. And finally, the installation crews within our own city's Department of Facilities Maintenance. The signs serve as a visible reminder to all who pass by that our city cherishes the freedoms bought at a very high price, and we are thrilled to have them on display finally. In closing, I want to express my deepest gratitude to the Military Order of the Purple Heart and to all the veterans organizations and individuals who worked to make this designation a reality. Thank you, Ed. And to our Purple Heart recipients who are with us today, we honor you. We truly do. We recognize the pain that you have endured, the challenges you have faced, and the courage you continue to show each and every day. May this designation as a Purple Heart City stand forever as a tribute to our heroes and as a symbol of the enduring bond between this community and the brave men and women who have worn the uniform. So on behalf of the City and County of Honolulu, mahalo for allowing us the privilege to honor you on this day. Thank you, and may God bless our veterans, our service members, and the United States of America. Mahalo.
Thank you, Mayor, and to everyone who helped organize today's ceremony. At this time, to honor our Purple Heart veterans, please enjoy this rendition of America the Beautiful played for you today by our esteemed Royal Hawaiian Band under the direction of Bandmaster Clark Bright. Mahalo to the Royal Hawaiian Band and Bandmaster Clark Bright. At this time, to help with the official unveiling of the Purple Heart City signs, may I please ask Mayor Rick Blangiardi and the members of the Rainbow Chapter of the Military Order of the Purple Heart to join us near the newest installation here on the Fosse grounds. And while they get into place, we would like to thank everyone who has helped and will continue to help with the installation of Purple Heart signs across the city and county of Honolulu. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. Mayor, on your call. That concludes today's ceremony. Thank you all for being here today. And God bless America's Purple Heart veterans. Mahalo.
Chuck, you ready? Chuck, are you ready?